All right, and we're live. Hey, Nadira.
Hey.
Hey, Nadirah.
Lovely to see you again. It's been a good few weeks actually since we
Mhm.
have spoke and since you graduated, so to speak. And yeah, lovely to see you. And yeah, thank you for gracing us with your glow and your presence on the calls. It's always feels like a gift, and always did as well throughout the program. So yeah, I mean, I guess what I'd love to do is actually just jump straight into the beginning. Start from the start point of kind of where you were at, what you was experiencing at the time when we first spoke, and yeah, before we started, witnessing all these transformations you experienced. Yeah, what was going on for you?
Um, when you and I first had our, first call to see if I was a good fit for the class, I had just come out of I wouldn't call it even a relationship. It was kind of like a situationship or entanglement
Yeah.
with someone, and I was just feeling really hopeless. Like I'm gonna give up, and it's just easier to be single. And even if I really don't believe that, I'm gonna force myself to believe that. And when you and I talked, you were kind of like, you really don't want that, do you? And I was, I really didn't, but I didn't know where else to go. It's like I'm hitting a brick wall, and what else do? I just don't have any other options. This seems like the best thing, and I'm just going to do that. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that phone call distinctly, and good 3 months ago at least now. But yeah, I remember having this conversation with you, and I remember feeling that you really meant it. Like you were like the path of celibacy, sort of, being alone, as you put it. I remember, the words you used, and I remember us having this conversation and me saying, well, for some people that is like a really valid path in life. It's the path of the nun, of the monk, and I do believe there are a tiny percentage of human beings on the planet for whom that's the thing, and that's a part of their spiritual journey and all of that. I was like, I don't think that's you, though. I don't think that's what the universe wants for you or from you.
Yeah.
And but no, you were really there, and therefore I think really ready to, yeah, really just do whatever. And that was something that was really, we found very beautiful, I think, about your experience of coming through the program, was this willingness to sort of surrender to the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
At
Yeah.
that point, I really didn't have any other options. Let's try this. Let's see. And if it doesn't work, we can always go back to be single forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember when you first came into the program. So obviously one of the um, uh, early modules that we work on is, and throughout the whole program, in fact, is starting to align with our higher power, with love, with our true voice, like you were saying just now. That wasn't what you really wanted, but you were like at a brick wall. So you were like, well, this, I'm just going to have to be stuck with this. And one of the things I remember really clearly was you had this beautiful message. Do you remember what it was from your higher power?
The
That
inner
I
script.
was, I was
Yeah.
bold and beautiful and powerful, and it
Yeah.
kind of shocked me. That was in probably like the first week or so, and when I heard it, I kind of had this, who, me? Like I don't know that person, but I did. I held on to that, and now I can see that it's more of a integration now, you know, at this.
Yeah. And how do you think that affected or has maybe had an impact on your relationship to yourself, but also to men? Do you feel like, yeah, how do you see any relationship between that? Because that feels so powerful, to actually have that
That
emerge
inner,
as your
yeah.
truth. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, for me, a lot of the lessons that I learned within the modules didn't just apply to relationships, but life for me. I was able to see myself in a different perspective. Um, I noticed that I was looking for a lot of outward validation. So
Mm,
knowing that this is who I am, I'm the bold, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, and some of the other lessons where I was able to pick up other traits of who I am when I go outside now, and I feel myself going back to that old habit of let's get validation from other people. Who likes me today? I can
Mm.
stop and say, no, remember who you are. So,
Wow.
wow. Yeah. Because that's so powerful, isn't it? And
yeah.
because so what were some of the things what were some of your brick walls or your bad relationship patterns do you
Um,
before you came into the program? Because that's a really common one.
yeah,
Just in terms of, yeah, it's
that
what a lot of
outward
women do.
validation stood out
Yeah.
to me. Um, which kind of couples with like codependency. Like, I really need you to see me. I need you to tell me I'm good. I need you to tell me I'm beautiful, I'm worthy. I need
Yeah.
all this confirmation on a daily basis. And honestly, that's a lot of work to ask from another person. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
yeah,
mm,
that stood out to me, a
mm,
lot. And I couldn't
Mm.
believe that I was doing it, but until I was able to change that, then I could see where I'd come from.
mm.
Yeah, and can you feel that difference as well between the the feeling you get from like validation from being told, being complimented really on the site kind of surface level of things versus this new self relationship that you have by this voice coming in and telling you that you are bold, beautiful, and powerful, and how it feels different in the body, and therefore kind of like what it is you actually really want to be seen in relationship. Is it just this, or is it more, and the two, the feeling between the two, and which feels better?
So the the outward validation feeling is very needy. It's anxious. It's like I need it, I need it, I need it now. Hurry, hurry. A heightening of that central nervous system. It's kind of jacked up. Cortisol jacked up. But when I stop, and I always put my hands on my heart even when I'm outside in public, and remember who I am. It's calming. It's okay, this is who we are. We're sturdy. you know um, Putting my hands on my heart also reminds me to breathe and slow down my heartbeat, slow down your pace,
Mm.
all of this. So um, the difference is one being very heightened and kind of arrested, and the other one being calm and steady. I also kind of have created like visualizations, for that second part where I'm remembering who I am. I know we did the lesson with the masculine and feminine, and in that Sharif used the water and the river banks, and that always stuck to me. And it was like I saw this goddess emerging from the water, and now I associate this person with myself.
Yes.
Um, and it's amazing. I think going forward in life, it's going to be not just seeing that person but being that person, more of an integration. But now I just try to connect with that being, that goddess, and as she emerges, I don't have to worry about anything. I just have to focus on myself.
Mm.
Wow. And so in comparison then, of being validated on the surface level of being beautiful, or whatever, or attractive, or whatever it is, it's you can just feel the difference, right?
Yeah,
And for this goddess emerging like literally from the water, that high and the sort of zing and the sort of
yeah.
stress and rush as well of that level of attraction is just, it feels to me like that just wouldn't work anymore.
No, no. If I meet a guy and I have that kind of uh, arrested or anxious feeling, I immediately tell myself, no, that's not what we're going for. That's not what we want to feel. We need to feel calm when we come into connection with
Mm.
someone. When I meet them, when I'm talking to them, I should be able to feel calm. I've even noticed that The type of guys that catch my attention might not physically look like guys that I've been attracted to before, but it's almost like I see something beyond their physical appearance now. You know, it's almost like you feel their spirit. And that's kind of what I want.
Wow. Yeah. And we, you know, that we say this in the program is we very specifically don't really ask you to get specific on who you're looking for, you know, for the single ladies coming through the program, or in terms of looks and all of that, because when you make these inner transformations, when you start operating from a different place, that can change, you know, and almost becomes, it's just not important in a way. It doesn't mean to say it's a little bit beyond looks don't matter. It's more than that. It's we're training you to resonate with you on a different level, and so you're going to resonate with people on a different level. And it's very hard to believe in the beginning for some people, because they're quite hung up and very specific on who they're looking for. But you know, the truth is, it's you start to resonate with people on a completely different level. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and sorry, I just wanted to say, what I remember is when you had you're talking about placing your hands on your heart. I actually just remembered something that you shared with us about, you know, not necessarily, as you said, not necessarily just relationship stuff, but anxiety in general. And I think with driving and being in certain public places, and this practice, you know, this embodiment practice that you've done was first noticeable in that kind of stuff.
Yes, it was. I've dealt with the anxiety for a long time. And I've just recently found out that it has a lot to do with my eyes. So I'm getting that. But that definitely helps for me to be able to slow myself down, you know, to tell my mind, hey, we need to stop. Let's stop going in circles and let's, you know, concentrate. Let's breathe. And what is your heart telling you right now?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's really powerful. I mean, it's a little. We won't go into the whole thing here on this call, but you know, this is why in all the practices that we have you do, it's a relaxing of almost all the practices, a relaxing of the eyelids, gently closing the eyes, connecting to the sort of more lower regions in the physical body, because you literally start to use a different part of your nervous system, and the eyes and all of that, it's linked up to a certain particle, very yang and very sort of, you know, so yeah, it would make a lot of sense.
And do you remember any other shifts or any other thing noticeable that changed in you, or that throughout the program?
Yes, the exalting the masculine. I don't think I'll ever forget that. That was so hard for me. And I did not think that I was going to make it through. I remember, you know, the call, and I'm not sure if you were there that day, Beth, but Sharif was like, I need you to go back and I need you to try again. And I'm like, I don't know if I can go back. But I think the biggest shift in that was going from a place where I felt fearful of the masculine energy, like I needed to fight and protect myself, and finally having the epiphany of you are powerful. There's nothing to fight for because you're powerful. And again, I always have these visualizations to kind of tie everything up for me. And when I was little, my uncles used to watch like old black and white gladiator movies. And when you see like a king or someone coming to another king's like palace, you know, they bow to one another, you know, to show respect. But the one that's bowing never loses anything just because they bow. And that was what I felt like I needed to learn. I don't lose any of the power or any of these great attributes that I have because I'm bowing. It's a sign of respect, and I need to see what I could be appreciative for from this power that I'm bowing to. So that I felt like that just took me to a whole nother level there.
Wow. Yeah, it reminds me of this analogy, you know, staying on the water analogy of, you know, when we're fearful, we feel like we're a wave in the ocean and we're surrounded by billions of other waves, and we're all like fight, you know, that how fearful would it be? You know, you're competing with all these other waves, but what you're saying is when you surrender, you realize that you're the ocean. And and when you have that power, there is nothing to fear. You know, that kind of beautiful, that is, such a beauty. And I remember you on the call actually, because you're very visual.
Yes.
And creative. And I remember you were like, I'm going to imagine the masculine is the sun.
Yes.
And that really helped. And there was lots of ways I remember that you ended up really I really felt just much more of your creativity and your
inner artist.
coming through. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, and you know what you described there, that very dynamic, is sort of I think so familiar for so many women, even if they're not necessarily super conscious of it. But it's this thing of how can I sort of, there's this silent voice in the back of the head which is saying I can't relax in the presence of the masculine, let alone sort of you know, it's a very charged word for a lot of women, but surrender in the moment. And it doesn't mean sort of give all your power away to a man, right? But that's the fear, is that that's what it means. And if one doesn't feel bold, beautiful, powerful, as you already had discovered for yourself, then it's like literally impossible. It's you know, it's a double bind. It's conflicting beliefs where it's like, well, I want to be in the presence of a loving, protective man, but if there's this little voice in there that says, yeah, but you can't protect yourself either, it's because you're not powerful. And so therefore that's dangerous. And then that's the thing. It's like, I want, but I don't want. Or when I do, it's with somebody who isn't really emotionally available or even actually available. Right. And all of that kind of dance. So with that said, then, I mean, where are you at sort of now, and what's been your experience since, you know, doing all these sort of inner transformations? What's happening in your world sort of relationally?
So once I finished the class, I just felt like I wanted to be by myself, to take care of just me. I realized that, I learned a lot of things, and I just wanted to care for Nadirah. Um, I have gone on a date since the class. The person wasn't really, I guess, for me, but I was able to see that. I was able to be honest with that person, and I was able to identify qualities within that person that I did like. So for me, it meant you're moving closer. And I feel like with dating, it's like you're going to have to date a lot of people. You know what I mean? To expect to just fall upon the one tomorrow might not be, so rational. So I'm okay with it. I think I'm just in a really good place where I'm okay with being with myself, and I'm just looking forward to see what comes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, well, I mean, I just wanted to say it is. You don't necessarily have to date a lot of people, right? So just want to throw that out there. It's not always everybody's experience that you have to, and it's entirely possible that actually you just immediately resonate with a completely different level of man, which we've seen, coming through LBL. But I'm curious as well about this sort of one date that you did go on, and how might that have gone for you pre LBL? What's the difference between the then Nadirah and now Nadirah going on that date with that same guy?
I don't know if I would have been able to speak up for uh, what I wanted. I having my clarity statement makes it really clear to know what I want, what direction I'm going in, what I'm looking for, what is a definite yes, what is a definite no. So I might have still, just continued to go on dates just to kind of appease the person, instead of listening to me and what I need and what I want.
Yeah. And how might that have gone then if if you had kept going on dates but not necessarily really wanted to be there? And that sounds like that would have got, I'm trying to figure out how that might have ended, and
Well,
potentially messily.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel like, and it kind of messy because I'm not really being fully present, and I'm not really being fully honest with that person about how I'm feeling. Yeah, I just don't foresee that going well. I felt so much better saying, this is how I feel. I'm not. I don't think a relationship between you and I would fit what I'm looking for. I felt so much better saying that instead of just kind of going along with the flow just because.
Mm. Yeah, wow, that's amazing. It feels like you're in a much better place, a much more, as you say, clear, confident, sort of secure, and able to communicate your truth as well as know what it is, but this capacity to communicate it without feeling the need to please somebody else or fear of how they're going to react, and just to hold your ground really in you.
Yes, yes, yeah. Like I said, I think the clarity statement really, it was like a roadmap for me. Like, this is
Mhm.
the direction that we're going. So, when I meet people and I'm listening, now I'm better able to evaluate. And I don't think I had a good evaluation like skill set prior to the class.
Yeah.
And how about because one of the things I noticed when I was doing a lot of work on myself, specifically in the realm of relationships, was not even just how I showed up with dating, but how my relationships with other men in my life, and how I showed up and how I understood them. And just that whole arena changed quite a lot for me, starting with my father and work colleagues and all, quite significantly. And I just wondered, have you noticed, or any relationship in your life, have you noticed any changes there, maybe with work colleagues or family members or friends? Because sometimes these shifts can be very powerful and affect other relationships in our life. I wondered
Almost.
if you'd noticed anything.
I'm not sure that I've noticed any changes in the relationships. I think the biggest change is just in me and how uh, maybe how I perceive the relationships now. I think before it still goes back to the outward validation, even with my family. I was looking for, do you like me? Do you accept me in this, group? Or, and now I don't, I hate to say it like this, but I don't care as much. I really don't care. I'm here. We're gonna have a great time. And
Yeah.
that's it. And I I just feel great about that. So I'm sure they probably pick up on it. And I never
Because
want to come across as harsh, but I just feel more comfortable with myself, which I feel like is such a big stride for me.
Yeah, no, it's true. Because I remember you giving this example about your work. I think it was the time you were talking about the ocean, you being the water, the river, and you didn't want to be the riverbanks. And I remember you saying that this episode happened at work, and you were like saying this, and you were like, they weren't hearing me, So that
Yes.
I just there was like these, like you said, these changes in perception in terms of what you were willing to do, how you saw yourself, what you weren't buying into in
Yeah.
terms of other people and their expectations. And
Yes.
I think that's why I was thinking, because I remember you saying, but I
I
just want to
remember.
be the
Yeah.
river.
I don't,
And they're making me be the riverbank, and I
yeah.
don't want to be.
She's
Yes.
like, I just want to flow.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and at work, I can say, I have kind of stepped back a little bit because, and again, to me, it's just, I'm just noticing me. What do I want? What direction do I want to go? Um, and everyone else can kind of take it as they may, but I need to focus on what I want, what direction I want to go. And I can't allow you to put me in these positions and I just go with it.
Yeah, and with that, and as you said, this sort of, yeah, it's not a bad thing, but this not caring about what people think and needing their validation and confirmation and all that stuff, it actually allows you to show up more authentically, right? And
Yeah.
actually, it's a good thing for the other party, whether it's this an intimate relationship, family, professional relationship, whatever it is. That not caring is the thing that allows you to actually just be more real.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's definitely what you are, Nadira, is real, and you always had that, I have to say, even at the beginning when you were full of quite a lot of anxiety and uncertainty and feeling that, as you said, hopeless in the sort of relationships realm, is, you were just sort of really ready to get really real with whatever needs doing. And another thing I remember about you as well, by the way, coming to the program, is whenever you ask questions, it was always thinking like 2 steps ahead, like that's coming up in the program, and it's like you've already anticipated that thing, which was really impressive, I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I love that line. I forgot you'd said that. I can hear it now. Yeah.
Yes, I can hear it too, because I was in such stress, like I just want to be, they won't let me be.
Yeah.
And at some point I had to realize I have to let go. I can't allow others to put me in the position and then I just perform there because you decided to put me there. I have to, I might have to just fall back, and someone else's expectations might not, they might be hurt or they might be disappointed, but I can't control that.
Yes, and that right there is the dynamic in relationships that people experience, where they do just want to flow, maybe, or it's potentially something else, but maybe they don't really know that it's a no for them. They don't know that they're not really happy. They're going along with it. They're going along with the other person's expectation or whatever it is they want from us, and they're not speaking it. And as I said as well, sometimes people don't even know, and then resentment builds up, and then boom, and then people get into arguments and start being kind of funny with each other, because there's this dynamic that they're either not aware of or they're aware of but not speaking. So this being able to feel suddenly, which probably had been there for some time, of I just want to flow, was like, oh, that is what it is. And it's like, well, what can I do? You can ask you can say that to the other party, again, whoever it is, professional, intimate relationship, whatever, or you can do something about it, right? Like you said.
Yep.
Yeah. You got it. And did you have anything else you wanted to
No, it was just to say, you were so inspiring, and just going through your journey has re-inspired me. I mean, particularly that that is the ultimate feminine power, to be able to flow in your words, and not to be grasping and attaching and pushing, but really just to be in the full presence of your own power and allow things to come to you. And I think that is what so many women are desperate for, actually, to just be true to themselves, and feel like they can be true to themselves and feel like they can just exhale a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. So inspiring. Yeah, genuinely so inspiring. Thank you for sharing and being you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And then that's the last thing as well is something I remember, which is you signing off a couple of emails or some messages or something, or you'd said it somewhere else, but it was sign off with grit and grace.
That's my email line. That is my signature line for my email, and I feel like it describes me perfectly. It describes my style when I dress. I love things to be graceful, but I always feel like I'm a little rough, and I kind of like that roughness too. So
yeah. Well, we do too. The smooth and the rough, because it's all there.
Yeah, big fans.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Nadirah. Thanks for sharing your journey with us. And it was a pleasure to see you go through it as well, and a pleasure to sort of see you on the other side, and really looking forward to seeing what more comes of it from you. And as you develop even and deepen this relationship with yourself, be ready for relationship, without having to become a nun.
Yes. I don't think I'll be a nun now.
Yeah, no, I think that's
good.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nadirah.
See you soon.
See you later.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody, as well.